This is me. This is me. I'm here. Yes, we are live. We are live. Hello, hello. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. I hope that everyone in group will come. Just come hang out. Just come hang out and see. I always see people saying, I want conversations. I want to interact. I want to make friends. I want to this. I want to that. But here's the opportunity every day. And yet I don't see anyone, besides those that come regularly. It's a bit peculiar to me. I don't know why not. I don't know. Sometimes maybe it's just people see a live and it's like, whatever. Uh, and they don't come. So coming out, people coming out. And if you're seeing this on the replay, come tomorrow this time, right? There's plenty of opportunity here. Lots to do. We don't have to know anything, don't have to be anything. This is just sharing, learning, growing, discussing, it's just lots of fun. We get into stuff. There's moreness involved. There's moreness involved. Yeah. All right. Lots of moreness, people. Lots of moreness. And it's so simple, really. We really get into these discussions. Yes, we're going through the story. But when you understand what the story is all about, then you understand too that when we read it, it's what comes up with the story. And we're discussing concepts, understandings, awarenesses, discernments, and this obviously relates most of the time or often enough, it relates to something personal, right? So then we start discussing about your stuff or whoever's personal stuff, right? How it works for you, how it connects for you, it understands how it works in your life, whatever issues are coming up for you. That's how it works, right? So it's a capital R readings are like that. They have a deep profoundness to them, and they go into the moreness. They connect. They connect to all sorts of stuff. That's why they're so awesome, and why they're so fun, and why they're so cool, right? And why they're such a big deal. So this is something that is basically the capital R reading is what the group is all about. Self-improvement, self-awareness, self-discovery, and of course, discussion. It's a discussion group. Yeah. So we had to discuss. These lives are exactly that. The story is just this mechanism, a stimulation mechanism, a theme, and that enables profound, deep discussions. Yeah. That's why I'm keen to see you guys come join. That's why it's huge. Ramsey is here. Ramsey is here. Ramsey, Ramsey. Hello, Ramsey. Hello, Ramsey. And Norma is here. Norma. I can say Norma. Yeah. Yes, and this is the thing too that this is the squeeze, like you said, Ramsey. A lot of people need to be squeezed to expand their knowledge and understanding. Ramsey says, yes, and also that if you're really really serious about learning and growing, right? I mean, really serious and about it. Then do something. Don't just expect to read a meme and oh, suddenly I'm now fixed. That's it. I don't need to do anything more. Like really? No, that's not going to cut it for you. And how many memes haven't you read? Yeah. What was that meme again last week that was so profound and so revelatory and blew your mind and changed your whole world? What was that one again last week? Yeah, you don't know. You don't remember. Oh, okay. This is, I'm on Nobelia. You see, that's the thing with the memes, right? And the stuff. It comes and it goes. And we fool ourselves into thinking this is self-improvement, reading stuff. No, it's not. No, it's not. Sorry. Yeah. You need to take it in. You need to understand it. You need to go through it all the way to the end. You need to perspective shift on multiple perspectives so you can see it forwards, backwards, inside out, upside down, every which way. Yeah. This is really key. Then you start to need to say, how does this work for me? How do I apply it? How do I make it my own? Then you go and you apply it, you test it, you check it, you fine tune it, you refine it. Then and then only when you've got that self proof that you know it, that you can use it, you can apply it, then and then only do you have real change that will last. Yeah. Then you have to maintain it too, because things like this, they can easily get forgotten because of habits. Old habits come, and this is a new thing, and well, new things don't have that much power, and then it goes away. So see, there's a lot to it if you really want to change. But if you're going to be lazy about change, forget about it. You know, you're only going to fool yourself into thinking that you are changing. Yes. And then also for the coaches, right? A lot of coaches in the group. Most of the posts are made by coaches of some kind. Just because you're a coach doesn't mean you got all the answers. Yeah. So come, talk, discuss, share. Let's hear your angle on things, right? Your coaching angle. Also, let's hear how you personally are learning and growing. If you're telling me you're not learning and growing, well, then don't be a coach. Sorry. Yeah. I mean, then you're in a space in a whole different world, and anybody who tells you that they're not learning and growing as a coach, stay away from them, because they'll just be very arrogant and tell you what they do. Yeah. And they'll be limited in what they think. Sorry. That's not somebody you want as a coach. Yeah. Sorry. I'm being a bit harsh, but yes, I mean to be a bit harsh, right? This is very important. Yeah. And again, you know, when it comes to learning and growing, this is a very important, very serious topic. There's no messing about with it. There's no messing about. You've got to be really for real here, right? Don't be pretending you got all the answers as a coach. If you're going to do that, forget about it, right? So the share, that's fine. I spent my whole life on this. It doesn't mean I have all the answers. I learn every single day through the sharing. Yes. I mean, I happen to have practiced being able to express, articulate, and elucidate on what I know, and I put it together into a cohesive system. That doesn't mean that I'm not learning. No, I learn every day. And all my programs are living programs. They get updated. Every time we do this, they pretty much get updated. Talking about updating, that reminds me, I've got to add the comments to, those profound insights from Sunday's reading to the end of the chapter, in the slides, in other words. So just on that too, before we get going here, if you look at the description on top here of what you're looking at, you'll see there I put a link to this to where I'm going to be reading from, where the story is, where the course is, really, because I'm reading the story not in a book form but in a course form. That's why it's in the slides form, and there's a lot of nice, beautiful graphics and artwork and photos and environments and all this. Like Norma said, she likes the background, and this is one of the Nobelia backgrounds, Norma, and remember that. Well, we'll see now as we read the story. It's fairly early, right? Biella's talking to Ursula before the other delegates arrive. And so is giving that idea of this early morning, right? And somewhere over here is Biella and Ursula. I don't know where exactly. Let me see in the background here. Let me move aside and have a look. I think there's a nice patch of lawn there in the background, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, wow, it's taking a long time for me to move aside. Yeah, see, so here's the nice, beautiful patch of lawn, and that's where Ursula and Biella, and she's meeting the delegates, right? Just here where the morning sun is coming, just perfect. Ideal place to meet, and especially with as a new beginning, right? With this freshness and this bit of, morning light, and that bit of mistiness in the air and all this. A perfect place for new beginnings. Hey, wait, when I move like that, my cushion over here looked like a bulldog sitting next to me. Anyway, just for fun. All right. Let me go. Let me go to the screen share. I know my mind sees fun things sometimes. So yeah, why not? Why not? Got to have some imagination, right? Got to have some imagination. So come, people, come and hang out, come and join, come and share, come and learn, come and be here, come and participate, come and listen. Yeah, come and grow, come and grow. Why is this slide now not being difficult? All right, so I'm going to screen share and then we'll read some. And I hope somebody comes and joins me on Zoom. Yeah, I want them to be reading so that I can eat. I'm really hungry and I got the food. It's all ready to go, but I can't eat now. So let's hope somebody comes on Zoom. Let's hope somebody comes on Zoom. All right. Brilliant. Brilliant. I know Elizabeth said she might not make it today. Bina was on Zoom earlier, but then dropped off having internet difficulties. It kept dropping. It kept dropping. So, and they're having a cyclone over there where Bina is. So I imagine that might be adding to the communication difficulties. All right. So brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Well, we'll see. Who comes. It doesn't matter. Even if it's just us, that's fine too. We'll have ourselves all to ourselves, right? And that's always fun. That's always fun. I like that. I like that. I just want to see anybody. I can't see. I can't see the likes or the loves. So, if somebody clicked like and that, sometimes they do, and then I know they've joined at least. Because they don't always say hi. I wish they would say hi. That would be cool. Did I do screen share? Not yet. I did. All right. I am screen sharing. Okay, brilliant. Let me make this window smaller here. It doesn't overlap as much. There we go. See? Get organized. Make this one a little bigger. I can see the background. I mean, see the chat on the right-hand side here and see. All right. So this first quote here is mastering the art of extrapolation is imperative. If we don't, then we always stuck in limited viewpoint. Yes. We're just stuck and we don't see the connections. We don't see where things might go. And then we lack so much opportunity in order to get in on things before it's too late, right? So this ability to extrapolate is very powerful. It enables us to essentially see the future. Not all that far into the future. Sometimes I did an extrapolation. When did China switch to start making money and using capitalism, even though they're technically it's too funny. China is still technically a communist country, yet they're going gangbusters with capitalism over there. But there was a specific point in time. I remember the premier came to the West, and when he landed, as he was getting off the plane, he said, "Wealth is glorious," and from then on, the whole China shifted. But anyway, so I made this grand extrapolation just by the way. Oh, it's a long story. Anyway, so that took a couple of, it's still going, that extrapolation. So we can extrapolate into the future is my point. I mean, many years or decades into the future or even more. But typically when we're extrapolating, we're looking at the near future. And even that near future makes a very big difference, as we're going to see in the story. Right. And it really changes the way we are able to deal with our reality. And of course, it's imperative not only, I guess it's not necessarily imperative in order to be able to deal with what's coming, but where it is imperative is in the context of awareness. Right. So how do we go along in our daily day-to-day? La 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 la. What's going on? Or I'm on Facebook. I'm doing a live. I'm listening to what's going on. That's it. We're just absorbing, right? Whatever comes our way. But when you extrapolate, you need to shift your awareness. This is a different kind of awareness. You have to start looking at and develop the skill to look at the bigger picture, to see a bit more, right? And to connect things. So the art of extrapolation is to understand statistics, probability, likelihood, etc. Right? And in order to do this, you really have to be in attunement with the world around you. And I'm going down that river. If I'm not able to extrapolate, well, I guess, to see where the river's going and all this, and I see it's starting to get mountainous and wind gorges and all this, well, likelihood there's potentially a waterfall in front of me, right? So extrapolation is taking the current things and looking at how it likely will develop into the future. Now, a lot of extrapolation involves similar skills to understanding mysteries, looking at clues and stuff like this. So I'm paddling along. Well, I can extrapolate the course of the river, but I sometimes don't need to. I see some mist rising up ahead of me. Well, likely that's the waterfall, right? Like, well, just a clue. It's not necessarily extrapolation, but it's very similar skills. The skills of discernment, but particularly applied to pattern and taking that pattern and extending it into the future, right? And the likelihood of that pattern continuing, which may or may not, but nonetheless, right? We want to see where things are going so that we can be prepared to act should they go that way. Yeah. And not necessarily that they will, but should they, right? And it gives us that ability to be ahead of the game. And it's a very profound skill. And of course, the major skill is the skill of added awareness, right? And discernment, all of that. Yeah. So very, very powerful skill. Very, very powerful skill. It is available, but no course. When I list stuff, as soon as I listed, and I listed just a few minutes before we started, then people, I guess it's bots or whatever, and they come and they want to say, is it available? And then the next thing they say is, can I call you? It's a scam. They use Google Voice and then they connect to your phone. Anyway, it's a long story out of the scam. But it's like every time, it's like, seriously, people. So, you see, what did I say? No calls. So what I do is I report them as scams. I don't normally do this now, but I'm just doing it for the interest sake of it, just for in case any of you sell on marketplace, it's just good to be aware of, and then I block them. And I waste my time though, but what can you do? Just is what it is. Part of doing business. And I do all this rigmarole to get rid of them. Where is this now? Yeah, anyway. All right. Ramsey says, extrapolating internally is stronger than projecting internally, I believe. Yes, internal extrapolation is very powerful. And of course, when we do this externally, and it's why the quote is there, right? Because I'm talking about the awareness. Yes, we're going to be dealing with external extrapolation, but of course, as you say, internally is good too. It's essential. And that's why it's an imperative skill. Because if I can't see where I'm going internally, if I can't extrapolate my life, well, take what I was saying earlier about people coming onto the group and they just go post to post. They read the post, they read the meme, and they think it's going. Well, if you look at your pattern of your life for the last couple of years, last couple of weeks, months, whatever, where's it going? Any different to what it's been? No different. You're taking in all these memes, you're reading all these self-help books, you may be doing self-help courses, and how much actual difference is it making? Not much. That's why when I do courses and programs, I run my own courses and programs. The way they are done is totally, completely, and utterly different to the way pretty much any other program is being done. I mean, it's a huge difference. It's a radically different difference, right? Because it's not about just getting information into your head. That's a small part of it, a very small part of it, right? So in order to, well, at least when you do Way-of-Impeccability or any other programs with me, it's not about memory. I don't care how much you remember at all. You don't need to remember much of anything at all. Well, what do you mean I don't need to remember? Isn't that how you learn? No, that's not how you learn, right? So when we really get into it and we really understand, we get to our, like I said earlier, we get to that real change where you make it your own and you prove it to yourself. And now it's yours. You own it. You know that you can use it. And of course you do use it. So it all works together. It's a very big thing. So internal extrapolation, absolutely. Ramsey squeezed would make us smaller, not expanding. No, I think Ramsey means like when you squeeze a sponge, right? Stuff comes out of it. You're squeezing yourself to get more. Yeah. So yeah. So Ramsey gets bigger and smaller when he squeezes. Right, Ramsey? It's both together. And of course, when squeezing stuff out of a sponge, you get that whatever it is, the soap or whatever, and you use it, but then the soap is ready to absorb more again, right? So when we squeeze ourselves, we see our moreness, and then we're making space for more moreness to be absorbed. So squeezing, yeah, it's also just you might as well say prodding, stimulating, etc. Right, in this context, that I feel many of the group members, they do need to be a bit squeezed and pressured, but they wanted the easy way. And this is it, lazy man's guide to self-change. Just read memes, read posts, that's it, belong to groups, and now you've sort of done, well, I'm doing, no, that's not enough, people, it's not enough. Elastic, exactly. Expansive, but with expansion also comes a contraction, and that contraction is the absorption. So yes, we're elastic because we're adaptable, flexible, fluid, but we're also growing. Yes, so we are growing sponge, Norma. Every time we squeeze, that sponge doesn't come back to the same space, it comes back to larger. The sponge grows because the moreness gets incorporated into the sponge, you see. So now it's more sponge, so now there's more to absorb and take in. It's a very magical process. Very magical process. Yeah. Very magical indeed. All right, let's see what the first slide is here. Dang, I'm getting hungry now, people. Somebody come so I can take a break here and eat. Biella was perplexed. Nothing she imagined had prepared her for this. Quite confounded, she didn't have a clear perspective on how to proceed. A situation somewhat new for her. Biella had been asked to escort a delegation from the New Worlds which had joined the agglomeration or were looking to join. All right, so this point here, Biella had been asked. It's not critical to the story. I'm giving a bit of backstory here. So, well, it comes in later on that there's no group, no leaders, or that. Everybody gets a turn at being admin. And later on, we're going to see admin. Biella has to go to the admin office. Biella and Ursula and Camillus go off to the admin office, right? So basically, the computer just decides, okay, Biella, it's your turn. Your chance has come up, so randomly assigned, and it takes into account that, once you've already done your service, then you're off the list and you do something else. And so it's a nice program that was put in place a long time ago, and you get called up and you say, okay, there you go, your turn to be admin. You're in charge. That's it. For a while, you're in charge. End of story. Why is it not a big deal? Because there's nothing to really be in charge of. Nobody's saying do this, do that. You're all free to do whatever you want to do. You don't need to be telling people what to do, because this is a society of sensible people, right? So the only thing with admin is literal admin. It's like, okay, the admin is there to, if people are going to sign in, sign up, whatever, administration. That's what your duty is. That's why it's not leadership, it's admin. And you can get called up for other stuff like, production duty, which is overseeing the factories, the robots, the agriculture, which is it's all automated, because we're in the future. And here's the thing, because they understand this logic, right, of efficiency, which is impeccability, best use of energy, efficiency and effectiveness. They automate everything. Why not? There's no reason not to. We right now in our society have the capability to automate pretty much everything in our production. Right? We can automate agriculture, factories, everything. We've had automated factories. Really seriously automated factories since 1979. I remember it. It was a Toyota factory. It was the first fully automated. Well, that was car manufacturing. But if you can make cars back in 1979 already fully automated, what's to stop you today? The technology's been around for a long time, right? The only reason stopping it is all sorts of other reasons, mostly political, right? But we can do this. So on Nobelia, no one needs to work. It's all automated, right? All your food, everything is all automated. The shipment to you, everything's all automated. The whole system is entirely automated. Now, even with automation, you still sometimes need people there. You need a human to problem solve, to do whatever, right? So this is part of your national service. We think of national service as being military. Well, their national service is to partake in whatever duties and services need to be done. Now, part of your national service may be I don't know, a burial duty. Maybe you don't want to automate that, who knows? I'm just saying there are many things that are service orientated also, right? So you want to be, you need a guide, right? You, for stuff that even on Nobelia, everybody doesn't have a chance to go everywhere, and you need a guide for some things. So, well, you get called up to be a guide, you learn all about it, and then you're the guide for a while. I don't know. I'm just thinking of potential things that we're doing, but there's not really all that much to do. So you don't get called up for service very much, because it is a sensible society that has gotten all these problems worked out, and they made an effort to take all their resources and do it. And somebody might say, yeah, we could automate, but it's expensive. You know how much wealth is in the world? Way more than that's used. Yeah. So there's plenty available wealth to do this. It's just that wealth is not being used to do this. It's just sitting around not doing much, right? So this is the key point. It's the will to do so. So again, extrapolation, right? So I'm looking at bigger societies, and this society that I'm talking about, it may seem idealistic, but it's not. There's absolutely no reason that we could not have automation here in this world that we live in now. Yeah. Paint was the first. Paint, yes, paint was the first auto. Sorry, I'm not sure in your comment there, Norma. So it's a tad perplexing. Yeah, I mean that I do believe the very first one that used automation was a Renault factory in France. But the Toyota one was the one I believe that was first fully automated. At least that was the first one I heard about, and I remember it in 1979. They made a big story about it at the time. It was in the news and everything. So, technically sometimes the one that gets the news isn't necessarily the one that's actually first, but that's what I remember. My point is that you had fully automated auto car, and car's not a simple thing to make back in 79. Paint shops in factories. Yeah. But this was why it made a big story, Norma, was because they were making cars from A to Z fully automated, right? So the whole factory put it in there. So the entire car was made. Of course, people still work in an automation factory. It's not only that. Range Rover was also one of the first, but Renault and Toyota were far ahead of the field at that time. Yeah. So Range Rover would be one of the first in the UK, but this was worldwide that I'm talking about, not in America, because I was in South Africa at that time, right? So that's why it made such a big story. In South Africa, the news works the other way around to America. When you turn on the news, it starts with international news, and maybe you'll have local news at the very end, right? It would have national news, and then maybe your city, your town, maybe, but typically it's national news only, right? If something serious happened in your town, then yes. But in America, it's the reverse. You start with local news. It's quite fascinating. Very different mindset, very different perspective. Bina is here. Bina, you need to come on Zoom. I know your Zoom's not working really well, but I need to eat, so you need to come on Zoom and read for me, please. Yeah. I'm hungry, Bina. I'm hungry. I want to read. I want to eat, but I want you to read and chat here. So anyway, so Biella had been asked. Now this asked I want to say. And later it comes into the story. And Biella's, the way she was asked is, Biella, would you please show the delegates what it is to be a new noble? That's the exact words that came from admin. Yeah. And so Biella, of course, takes this quite seriously. And this is a serious mandate. It's not to tell them about the new nobility. That's a very different thing, right? Right. So she's escorting this delegation around Nobelia, or at least wherever she feels it's appropriate to go. But her mandate is to show them what it is to be a new noble. So she has to demonstrate new nobility qualities and skills and abilities, etc. Mindsets, attitudes, psychologies, philosophies. Yes, she has to demonstrate this. So she cannot she's in a very difficult position here because yeah, sure, yeah, sure, brilliant, sure, brilliant, 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 brilliant. Just in time, sure, just in time. So now I was saying, hello, sir, good morning, sir, good morning, good morning. Ah, glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. Actually, very important that you here. Your being here is important from a health point of view. I'll explain in a moment. Oh yeah, very important, very important.
Okay.
I'll explain. So I'm explaining about Biella had been asked. Her mandate is to show the delegates from the other worlds, to show them what it is to be a new noble, right? She has to demonstrate new nobility. But this puts her in a very tricky position because some of these delegates are from worlds that are just new to the agglomeration. They're not in it yet. They're looking to join maybe. And essentially they a little, let's just put it this way, a little bit backward, right? They may be have a but much superiority paradigm going on, etc., etc. And some of those delegates have they're so far removed from what new nobility means. Not that you have to be one, but the idea of it, the concept of it, right? It's completely foreign to them. But Biella's tasked with showing this to them. At the same token, you can't show when somebody and they're not going to see or understand or hear what you're saying. So she has to apply this capital D diplomacy and stick to her mandate. So she has to kind of ease into it, right? She has to go but gradually sometimes. So it's a very tricky thing to be able to communicate and be real to it. Yeah. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal. It's a very big deal. So I'm just finishing this slide, and then I'd like you to read some, please, sure, because I need to eat. I'm really hungry, and my food is ready to go. So I'm just going to finish the slide. The problem was the delegates. See, there's the health reason that you're here, you see. The problem was the delegates. They were nothing at all what she had expected. One delegate in particular. So I'll keep an eye. Obviously, I'm right here, and you read, and I'll go to the next slide. Right as you get to the end there. Oh, I have to put this on.
Okay.
Right as you get, right, so that the when you get to the more they converse, right there, I'll start going. So because it takes there's a little lag, you see. So then you can read nice and smoothly. But again, too, it's capital R reading. So you stop where you want to and say, what does this mean? Whatever, what does this, this means to me, or this connects to my article that I'm writing. By the way, did you post your article yet, sir?
I did. I just did. Yes.
Okay, so read that article. The article is titled.
Well, I'm going to title it "Understanding Equals Love with Awareness."
Understanding equals love with awareness. That with needs to be, well, you can't always put the italics, but I put little stars on either side to indicate that. So it's very important. Love with awareness equals understanding. Capital U, understanding. In other words, when you explain. I mean, I'm still waiting for my food here, but well, a minute to go. But I'm keen on this. So this topic, we could pretty much just, this is new nobility stuff, right? This is what the new nobility and Biella is going to apply this love with awareness,
which is diplomacy. It truly
right,
is.
exactly. And she's going to apply it, this understanding, to the delegates. We're going to see it come in with Cornelius, especially. Now with Ursula, it's well, she's really making an effort to understand, as we see already. But she naturally likes Ursula, right? But with Cornelius, well, he's not the most likable of fellows right away. But Biella loves him, and we'll see why. Yeah.
Yes. So I'll start with Ursula.
Because of the understanding. So yeah, but I mean, what I want to say is, as you go along, relate what you're reading and connect it in any way to your article.
I will.
I'm
will
happy to
try.
spend the whole time discussing your article, because your article is totally about the story. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, and I will do my best. You know how my brain sometimes it takes a bit to connect.
Yes,
So,
yes, yes. That's all good. It used to do that.
It used to. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. Your
Okay.
brain is quite fine. Nothing wrong with your brain. Just practice. Just practice. That's all it is. Just practice. So
Wait.
you read and connect. Again, I am keen to hear more about your article. So we'll keep enfolding your article into today's live, because it is very, very pertinent and relevant. So very profoundly, magically, marvelously awesome article.
Well, and I may have to have you be the one to pull it up on your end, because you know how things freeze on my end when I've got more than one program.
Well, it is. So just I mean, I'm screen sharing, so you should be able to see it.
Right, I can see your article.
Okay.
So
yeah,
Ursula.
Yeah, go ahead.
By the way, Ursula is somebody that I connect with. When I heard this story a couple of years back, I hit, for whatever reason, I connected Ursula with myself at that time. Being somebody new and somebody exploring with great curiosity.
Yes, and especially later on, when we see, now we don't know much about Ursula, but when Ursula shares her story and what's going on with her, especially what confounded Biella, we're going to see so much of show in that. Very magical. Very magical. Very cool. Very, very cool.
So Ursula, smart, intelligent, in complete command of herself. Side note, something I'm aspiring to.
There you go. A
natural leader. Smooth, charming, affable, but also with an underlying intense, caring desire to do and be good. And oh my goodness, do I resonate with that? I wonder how many other people resonate with that.
Exactly.
An underlying, intense, caring desire to do and be good. What more could we want?
Exactly. Now, who's in chat over there? Who does that apply to?
I don't know. I can't see right now.
All right. Well, you can just say whoever's in chat, which is Ramsey and Norma right
everybody.
now. Exactly. Everybody who comes in chat, it applies to them. Oh, Venus in chat too. So yeah, this applies to all of us, right?
Yeah,
and this it's kind of almost like a little throwaway line here, almost, yes. But it is a profound
I don't know. I think it's one of the most important ones.
Right. But I mean, some people may not see it as so profound because, hey, it applies to you. You also have that. Once you recognize that, if you didn't have that, you wouldn't be reading the story.
That's true. Right? But here's something else too, though, on that line right there, the underlying intense caring desire to do and be good. That's one of those things that when we first started talking about being a new noble or aspiring to be a new noble, remember I told you that I almost had to use that word in hush reverence, because it's one of those, it's like, dare I speak it? Dare I say it? Can I think of myself in that way?
Yes. I mean, the idea, we aspire to do and be good, Yet the idea of saying, could I be a new noble? That almost seems a bit profane in a way.
Yes, it does.
Like sacrilegious. like really, seriously?
It does. But that's also said with humility too.
Exactly. Exactly. It's our humility that checks on this. And it's an appropriate caution, because that's why we say, yes, well, do I need to be a new noble? No. I don't need to be a new noble. It's not like I don't have an ambition to be a new noble. See, now right there it changes. Am I aspiring to be one? Yes. Could I potentially become one? Maybe. Does it matter? No, it matters not
No.
in the least. So realistically, at this point in time, I don't realistically think so. But I also know that, you know what, things change over time, and what we believe possible now is, it changes as time goes on, or impossible. So I don't really see this as all that realistic. However, that doesn't change my deep desire to start on that path. And that's why I see myself as an aspirant. I may be a forever aspirant, a perpetual aspirant, doesn't matter. The fact that I'm on that path towards this goal, whether I achieve the goal or not, doesn't matter. Being on the path matters.
Yes.
Right, sure.
Yes.
Bina, does that click for you as well? Hello, Bina. I'm glad you're here, Bina. I'm glad you're here.
Hello,
Right.
Miss Bina.
I can eat quite happily and in peace here. So
I'm excited she's on here. Hello, Miss Bina.
Bina?
Hello. Yes, it is taking time for me, sure, to respond to anything because everything is lagging today. That's why it was taking time for me to come on Zoom also, even though. Anyway, this is good. Please keep reading. I'm listening here.
And we hear you. We will hear you very clearly.
Okay.
Very
so so when you come on, just say like one word, and we're like and then we'll see you and we'll hear, and then we'll give a pause and then start talking. And when we ask you, we'll give pause. So yeah, very cool. All right, keep going. Where were you?
Okay. Biella. Yeah. Biella had liked her immediately. The other delegates hadn't yet joined them. Biella found herself alone with Ursula, discussing easily and in depth. The more they conversed, the more she was perplexed. Okay, I have something on that, but just a second. Obviously, they had a connection. But Biella, nuh-uh.
I want to hear what you have on that.
So I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. All this time that I have been reading and listening to these excerpts and these stories, Biella to me, please, Bina, don't be embarrassed. Biella to me Bina has been Biella.
Yeah.
I've always just kind of had that connection. I try to place people with the different characters in the story. But I have always just not put up on a pedestal, but have always just said, Bina just reminds me so much of Biella with her
correct.
wisdom.
Bina is the closest incarnation that we know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, okay, next screen.
Oh, that was the share. Yes. Yeah.
Obviously, they had a connection, but Biella was having a problem reading Ursula. And at one time, Miss Bina shared with me that she did a little bit. Unable to establish where the boundaries were with most individuals who weren't from the new nobility, it was fairly easy to determine what one could and could not talk about. Some would only care to converse about the most mundane of topics, refusing to stray into anything even remotely unconventional. Others liked controversial topics and loved discussing politics, for instance, but were completely averse to discussing religion. I can relate to that. Usually, it typically came down to a split between the conventional topics and those which pushed the boundaries of beliefs. Very few, it seemed, were truly interested in topics requiring leaps of faith. These were usually written off as being frivolous or silly.
Now, when this is a big discernment point here, right? Because we say most are willing to discuss the boundaries, pushing of faith. Who like to push the boundaries of beliefs, but that doesn't mean that they are willing to discuss leaps of faith. So in other words, they might discuss religion and say, well, what if this, what if that? You're taking what you know and you kind of pressing on the boundaries and expanding it, which is great. It's just really cool, right? I mean, however, a leap in faith, that's a whole other thing. And then when you say, what, let's imagine a whole new religion. Now it starts to fall apart a little bit, right?
Yes.
Or
Because
alternative,
convention.
right, exactly. So it's easy to take what you know and just press it a little bit here and there. But when you have to invent something completely new, in other words, and put in an unfamiliar situation, now it's a whole different ballgame. That requires a whole different mindset and understanding. So,
And openness.
right, exactly. For instance, this whole idea of nobility and the society, the new nobility, right? A society founded on this concept and idea of being noble. This sometimes is a very difficult subject for people to get into, right? Again, simply because they don't want to give up their familiarity. They don't really like exploring. They don't want to be unfamiliar because they're too afraid of looking stupid. So that's the inhibition there. So now Biella is being very diplomatic even inside her own mind here. She doesn't want to say that, right? That's really the boundary here. The split is truly, when it comes to leaps of faith, this is when you are able to let go of your paradigm, which includes now obviously superiority paradigm, things like ego and status and all this, right? Looking silly and all of that, right? But it also says that even if you may be in a different paradigm, you still need to be able to let go of whatever paradigm you're in, because it may be a more enlightened paradigm than the superiority paradigm. But if you're stuck in it and you can't paradigm shift, you're still stuck. Right? You may be stuck in a better prison, but you're still stuck in a prison, right? So
Yes.
this is very important, this ability to shift. And this is that openness and that receptivity, which we spoke about yesterday. That's exactly what it is, right? The willingness to look at alternatives, completely different alternatives, right?
Yes. That's what I
Frivolous
did
or
today.
silly. Say again, sir?
I said, and that's what I did today. I just decided to set everything aside that I knew and really explore whether or not, explore how love and understanding are synonymous.
Yeah.
And I just ran with it. And pretty soon before I knew it, I had answered my own question. So.
Okay. So take the people that are come in here on live, right? On a regular basis. Anyone of them, a whole bunch of them, right? Pick anyone at random. When you really understand them, you understanding, which is now, right, with awareness, right, discernment, all of that, right, because it's awareness, discernment, understanding. You need to have a bit of awareness, then you apply discernment to enhance your awareness, you come to understanding. When you truly understand each of the people that come here on a regular basis, you understand that they have good and beautiful hearts. They want to learn, they want to do and be good. How can you not love that?
This is true.
How is it possible to not love good people? It's impossible. When you understand them, and
applies to self, and that's what caused me to write it.
Yes.
How many of us can love our? To me, the question, it was just one of those things. It's like, well, how could I be so audacious as to think that I can smile at a baby and I can love other people and I can see the goodness and the kindness of others? Why am I not giving myself that?
Right. You remember with patience, we said being impatient is to be inadvertently arrogant. Right?
Yes,
remember?
It is.
Right. Now to not love yourself is to be inadvertently hypocritical.
Right. Which is arrogance.
Exactly. It's a form of it, yes. Because you're saying, yeah, but I love the universe. I'm part of the universe.
Then how can you not love yourself?
Exactly.
How can I not be kind to myself?
Exactly. And how can I not understand that I'm a nincompoop?
Right. How can I not offer myself compassion and grace for, big deals? So I'm not wealthy. So I'm not, I don't own my house, et cetera, et cetera. None of that matters. What matters is how I am viewing myself, my position in the world right now. Not years ago, but now, this present moment. And if I don't, if I'm not caring for myself in the way that I care for others in this moment, then yeah, I am being hypocritical.
Exactly.
No
Inadvertently,
reason,
maybe, but nonetheless.
yeah, but there's no reason not to be kind to ourselves.
Exactly.
Being here is being kind to ourselves. This is self-care. This learning and this growing, this is self-care, in my
Exactly.
opinion.
It's the most profound self-care. Exactly. Exactly. And self-love also.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
mean, I guess some people would look at it, you know, from the outside as, oh, well, this is entertainment. This is just something to do with their time, you know, to say that they're smarter or being better than others. But no, this is my growth program. This is my
Exactly.
self-care. This is pulling me
Exactly.
away from
Exactly.
all of the garbage.
This is our work, except we're being very skilled at our work. We've understood and figured out how to make our work joyful.
Yeah, that's true.
So we could say I'm a professional athlete who loves his sport. Well, my sport is learning and growing.
Yes.
Right? Very simple. But I have a question for Bina here, right? Well, and for you too. So I can say with fair confidence that Bina is somebody who's very easy to love. This is just the way she is,
Agreed.
right? Others, I think I'm a bit more not quite so easy to love sometimes, right? I'm just using this example here. So maybe somebody would disagree with me. Maybe Norma would disagree, but I don't know. My point is that
we're birds of a
but
feather, but I get you.
exactly. So all right. So we might not be that easy to love, but Bina very easy to love. But I'm going somewhere with this, right? So I'm putting Bina a bit on the spot here. I want to make an example here. I'm using as an illustration. So whether or not this is now technically exactly accurate doesn't matter. The point is, I want to ask Bina. Bina, are you sometimes a thorough, total, and utter nincompoop?
Yes, why not? I'm actually
Now,
saying that why not, because
right, exactly.
it is a process and it is a part of the deal that we are when you are learning and growing. Whatever you are right now and whatever you will be in future, that difference between always an inappropriate.
Exactly. Right. So the question was again, Bina, are you sometimes a nincompoop? And you said yes. Right? They're like, duh. Right. Now I
Yes.
want to ask Sure. Sure. Discovering this incredible horrific fact about Bina. Oh my goodness, Bina can be a nincompoop. Oh my goodness. Yeah, and she can be a big nincompoop too by the sounds of it sometimes. Holy moly. Now, sir, I think do we love Bina any less because of this?
No,
What do you think?
absolutely not.
Hang on, say again.
I said no, absolutely not. Of course I wouldn't
Duh!
love
Don't
her
be a
less.
nincompoop, Sol. See, now Sol has been a nincompoop to even ask that question, right? It's a stupid question. Of course not. We don't love Bina any less because she's a nincompoop.
Oh, why would we love ourselves?
Wait a second. Bina says, I didn't say I am a nincompoop. I said sometimes. You asked if I'm sometimes a nincompoop. Okay, my point is, see, nincompoopery and loving, this they don't connect. Why? Because we understand. Because we're all nincompoops. And Venus nincompoopry, is there meanness in it? Is there nastiness in it? Is there horribleness in it? Is there ugliness? No, none of that. It's just nincompoopry, right? So it doesn't make us love Venus any less, right? Maybe even make us love Venus some more. Yeah. However, we don't excuse our own nincompoopry. We don't need to excuse it. We just need to understand it. Yeah. So it's not about excusing ourselves, but understanding. I understand I'm a nincompoop, and therefore I'm also potentially lovable like Bina.
I really like
There's
that.
hope for me. There's hope for me.
Not excuse ourselves, but
Understand.
Okay.
If we continually looking to excuse our nincompoopery, you are implying that the nincompoopery needs to be excused, which implies that there's something wrong with it.
Ah, okay.
See, it's by implication. So the more I look to excuse it, the more I'm saying there's something wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a fact of my existence. I'm always going to be a nincompoop because there's always more to learn.
That kind of changes the idea of giving yourself grace, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Grace could be
And
giving
self-love.
Use.
And look at it. It all connects back to this understanding, deep understanding, right? So when we talk about understanding, yeah, it's really understanding the totality, because you look at it from all angles, all sides. And this is what we've just done to ourselves here now, right? So, so we're just as lovable as Bina.
Of course I am. Okay.
Exactly. Does it mean that I find it easier to love Bina than me or Norma than me? Well, yeah. Okay, Ramsey, you may
Yes,
be
it is.
slightly less easy to love than Norma, but so be it. It's
I
just
think
how it
it's
is.
always easier to love others more than it is
Exactly,
ourselves.
exactly. All right, I'm just teasing you a little bit, Ramsey. But you see my point here, right? There's no grading to this, right? It just I'm also teasing Bina a little bit. You know, for me, you're just as easy to love as Bina. It's no different, really. Yeah. Just, you know, we have different styles and different things that come about, you know, and we're all different. And when you celebrate the difference, we love what it is that's unique about you. There's no better or worse to it. There's no better or worse to it, right? So you see, Ramsey knows. I love that I can tease you, Ramsey. I really do. It's a very profound thing. But really, I want to make this point. There's no better or worse when it comes to love. When we truly understand somebody, how is any of our hearts any more good than any other heart? There's no such thing as more good. It's either good or it's not. That's it, you know. Your deep heart, your real heart, right? So that's it.
That's
Your
true.
intent is a good intent. It's not more or less. It is. That's what it is. It's just the nature of what it is. And this is what we love. It's very simple, right? Now, your flavoring, how you apply that, that's your individuality. That's your difference, and that's also what we love. You've got this particular path, and I've got this particular path. Now, I'm on my path, but that doesn't mean that I don't get to see your path through you, through your sharing, like your article today. And that's
Yes.
what I love, right? Because it allows me to see another variation of me. Because isn't that what you are?
Oh, because I hadn't thought it through that far, but that's very truthful.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when I love you, or I love Bino, I love Norma, I love Ramsey, who am I loving really? But me.
Self.
Exactly. When I see this, I say, man, that's a way to go. And I love the way you do. And this is what I do. I constantly absorb what I love from others and start building it into me. All the time. All the time. Yeah.
That's a wonderful statement. Somebody had to write that down.
Which one?
That when you see good things and the things that you love in others, you absorb it and
Exactly.
apply it to yourself.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Because if we don't do this, how are we truly loving the entire universe? How can I not add it into me if I see it elsewhere? Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to, because it's good, it's wonderful, it's moreness. Yeah. Now, will I necessarily use and exercise it? No, because I've got, I like your clothing, but I don't necessarily going to wear your clothing. Yeah? But I have this understanding of its existence. Should I have a need to wear your clothing and it's appropriate for me to wear it, then I will. Right? In other words, if I become you for a while, for whatever reason, in another life or whatever, and I'll wear. See? So we have this, we keep adding because it's all about appropriateness, understanding, depth. So it's a magical thing. It's a very magical thing. Very magical thing. When we love others, we love ourselves. So that's the way to get to love yourself.
I like that. Love
Because
others.
we're all part of the same. Yeah. We're just variations of each other. It's a very profound thing. Very profound thing.
I like that.
All right.
Okay.
So now that Bina's here, if Bina feels like reading, you're more than welcome. Otherwise, please continue, sir. So I got to make some coffee. Would you like some coffee?
Oh, sure, please.
And Bina, how about you? I find it very hard to make coffee, to make coffee and not offer. Even if you guys aren't here, it's so deep in me.
That's true.
It's really hard, when I just feel like I'm very selfish, even though probably not even aware that I'm going and make coffie. Deeply entrenched things. So.
But wait, I have to say something about this because so when CJ and I, Christina, when we were visiting with you in Arizona,
yeah,
having coffee was an experience in itself. Just having morning coffee was an experience.
Yes,
it wasn't ceremonious, but yet it was.
Right.
It was
Right.
deliberate.
Yes.
But there was this, I don't even want to call it an expectation, but there was an understanding that this is a very somber and, sober occasion.
Yes.
Yet loving and lighthearted.
Appreciative is what I
There you
would
go.
say. It
Yeah,
was a celebration of
yeah.
appreciation, which
Uh-huh.
is a very sincere and a very earnest thing. Yes, but it's also very joyful. But
Yeah,
it's absolutely a celebration of appreciation, right?
yeah.
And it has a peculiar mood to it. Like you say, it might even seem somber, but sober, but not somber, sober. I think you
Right.
meant to say,
Yes,
right?
yes.
But yeah, it was very sober. I mean, it's a very realness to it because appreciation is so important. It's
Yeah.
critically important. And as is, of course, celebrating appreciation.
Huh?
This is a profound skill that is absolutely essentially important. If we don't celebrate appreciation, then we're going to lose out in life, right?
Yes.
You have to lose out in life. Yeah. See,
Yes. So
so
yes,
so
I'll take
Ramsey,
it.
you see, that's the magic of Ramsey. Well, Ramsey's name doesn't Ramsey's name just lend itself to the celebration of appreciation? Ramsey, I don't know. Yeah. You can't do it with all names. Norma, you can do it with Norma too. But Ramses has that particular quality to it, which is just great, But again, so I have fun with it because it makes it easy for me to share that celebration. But
Yeah.
little things like coffee and making tea or a drink or food, when we treat these as a celebration of appreciation, and also it's inclusivity. I love
Mhm.
the inclusivity, and it's a mechanism where I can express my caring and my concern for you, my love for you, my joy for you, right? And for me, like if you literally were here, I'll make every effort to make the coffee exactly how you want it, right? And
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So this was
That
a
was
big deal.
definitely accomplished. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
It's
was
a
great.
great joy. It's a great joy. It's a great
It was.
joy to be able to share joy to others and bring joy to others. It's a very profound joy. So this is Nobelia-Living. Very simple things, right? Very simple
Mhm.
things that I'm mentioning. Again, obviously I made coffee dozens of times over here. I get up, I go. It's typically what I'm doing. But I thought to share now is because this is Biella showing Nobelia-Living. So
Yeah.
I'll share some of it as much as I can as well, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Biella has her own sensibilities, by the way. And after a while, like I said, when you really write stuff and you really get into writing it, the writing starts to write you. It not
Yeah.
only writes itself, the story, but the story starts to write you. And
Yes.
that's a very profound thing, right? So, I mean, yes, a lot of deliberation, a lot of thought, a lot of care goes into the story, but also your moreness can come out, which is a very profound thing. All right, brilliant. Bina, you want to read?
Yes, but Cher is doing really, really wonderful job, and I'm enjoying this. So please share.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree. I just want to ask, I saw you go off mute. You see, that's why I asked them. All right, brilliant. Keep going, Bina. Keep going, Ursula. I mean,
Ursula, obviously open-minded and progressive, yet Biella couldn't be sure where the boundary was. She was worried about saying the wrong thing, possibly putting Ursula off, something new to Biella. She had many wonderful friendships with individuals outside of the new nobility. Some had definite boundaries, even though they were unspoken. She occasionally tested these to make sure, sometimes to tease, but mostly to check. Mostly to check. Biella didn't want to assume her friends stayed in the same place. Most did not. With Ursula, could not tell.
yeah.
She found herself being overly careful with what she was saying, not liking it one bit.
And on that point, to me, to jump in with friendships, yes.
Yes.
If you find and this, we see just me. Sorry, I'm going to jump a bit sideways here before I finish my sentence there. Right? When we say this point of being able to say whatever you want, if you're in a relationship or you're starting a new relationship, and you find that you have to watch your P's and Q's, or watch what you say, and you don't feel like you can say everything you say, don't go into that relationship. Sorry.
Right. I wrote about that yesterday.
You're not ready yet. I mean,
Right.
I'm not talking about when you just first meeting each other. Like, let's say you're looking to
No.
get married or whatever. Now, if you can't say whatever you want to say, This is not a relationship that's going anywhere. Sorry.
If you can't read the menu, cancel the relation. Can't just cancel.
Exactly.
Cancel the dinner. If you can't
Exactly.
read the menu.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
important.
It's important that you are able to say nonsense. It's important that you are able to say foolishness to the person that you are close to. Yeah.
Yes.
Idiocy, because, it's not that you want support for your idiocy. No, it's that you can say it, because when you do say it, you're like, oh, well, now that I think about that, yeah, well, okay. Or they may say, do you realize that what you just said is, if you look at it from this angle, this context, it doesn't kind of add up. Doesn't make, oh, yeah, I never thought of it that way. Oh, what do you mean? See, okay. Either way, my point is that you can then get to discuss it. And if you can't discuss your foolishness and your nonsense, then with somebody you love, then who are you going to ever discuss it with?
That's true.
It's a huge deal, right? So this openness, this ability to talk about anything, sure. If there's one thing I treasure in our relationship, it is exactly that.
True. We have
Bina,
been
if there's something I treasure in our relationship, it's exactly that. Doesn't matter what it is. We could talk about anything. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't mean that our communications are always smooth. Sometimes they might get a little rough, but we persevere. We're trying to be more graceful and more noble-like, new noble-like, right, Vina? We tried to get there. Well, me at any rate. But still, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to be able to talk about anything. It's gorgeous.
This is where I understand Ursula in this particular part right here. I understand her the most because I'm what do you call it? I keep things close to my chest, except for those who I have established that level of relationship with. Not that many. Not that many. I can count y'all on one hand.
Correct. I mean, and now, of course, there's prudence when you come into a new relationship. You got to feel your way around, right? And when you find that you can share, you share more, you see where the boundaries are, and then you're back. And now, Biella is her intuition, all of her skills of people reading and perception have told her that Ursula is somebody who she would really like to have as a close friend, right? Yes. So, but yet there's a problem. And this is the anomaly. Typically it's okay, you like somebody, but they can maybe a bit overly cautious, over timid, shy, whatever, and you understand and you make allowance, and over time that changes, right? So, or you say, well, this person's a bit, maybe a bit too conservative for my liking. All right, I'll just, I like them, but they're not going to be a close friend because, well, I can have fun, but for a limited period of time, right? So that doesn't mean we can't have friendships if we can't discuss everything. They just tend to be a bit limited, because when you run out of it, then you can't go further. So it's only in these certain areas, right? So it's a bit limited. Right. Doesn't mean that you don't have those friendships. You can have a profound friendship on that, but not going to be a deep, extended daily friendship, right? So it's a very big point here, very big point here, how this works. Yeah.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Ursula was strong, an innate initiator, one of those individuals who were competent and sensible in everything they did. She had no problems in asking for help if she needed it or didn't know something. Biella had the sense there were sides to Ursula where she felt vulnerable, but was caught between wanting to discuss these and being annoyed with herself for needing or wanting to talk about it. Biella explored certain areas to open things up. She encountered the vaguest hint of resistance and didn't pursue. So nebulous, Biella wasn't sure at all. Could be her imagination or a manifestation of her own fears and insecurities. Let me read that again. So nebulous, Biella wasn't sure at all. Could be her imagination or a manifestation of her own fears and insecurities. She didn't want to offend or upset Ursula in any way.
Yeah, and there's another good sign, right?
And I say ouch because, wow, like I said,
yeah.
I'm just holding up a hand going, yep, me.
Yeah. You know, and that, yes, we want to be cautious, but we can't be overly so, right? We have to have, when we have good friendships, we know that we can risk upsetting or offending. Not that we want to. Of course, it's a risk. You don't think it's going to go that way, but it's so important that you have to sometimes take that risk. And I say, well, you know, but that's the deep friendship that says, I know my friendship will survive this because this is really important to me, whatever this is, you know.
Right.
I mean, whatever I'm going to be talking about, which, you know, I don't know, I don't want to give examples here now.
Right.
Things that come up are just not fun things to think
I was just thinking that holding things close to the chest, though, could be two-sided. On one end, it could be because of discernment. On the other end, it could be because of a lack of accepting self.
Yeah.
So at this point, we don't know.
Exactly. Right.
We don't know
but
yet.
take your example, right? Where you say don't want to offend or upset. Now, in our relationship and with Bina also, right, and the stuff that we've talked about, I mean, the three of us now, right? Some of the things from your past came up. Now, some of those things from your past aren't very pretty or pleasant in the least. Yes?
Right.
Now, if you had a concern that you may offend or upset us, then those things would never have been discussed. Now, does it mean that we always want to be talking about this and only this? No, but when we spoke about it, we were fully immersed in discussing it. We wanted to resolve, to figure out, to understand, to come to awareness, etc., etc. Right? And so offense or upset has nothing to do with it because this is important to you. How could I possibly be offended or upset? It's not possible. Doesn't mean it's a pretty topic. Yeah, but just because it's pretty doesn't mean not pretty, doesn't mean I'm going to avoid it. No avoiding of the ugly truth, right? But this is a measure of deep, good friendship that you can talk about those things as necessary, and your friend will want to talk about it with you.
Yes, to help resolve it.
Exactly. Now, okay, if we're going to be talking about this for the next 20 years, the same topic every day in and day out, I might say, hey, listen, girl, you got to better, you know, you got to evolve a little bit here because it's like, hey, you got to move on. You got to move on. Right.
Yes.
Then it may become a bit much, but my point is, though, if there's progression, we with your friend, right? Doesn't matter if it takes a long time. If there's progression, but if they're not progressing, then they might need a bit of a shove, right?
Exactly.
It's important. Doesn't matter how slowly we learn, as long as we learn. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And some of us learn very slowly.
Yeah.
I feel I'm a very slow learner. I know some of you might say, really?
I am.
Yes, really. I feel I'm a very slow learner.
I feel like I chew on what I learn until it's to a part where I can digest it.
Exactly. Now, when I say I'm a slow learner, it's capital L learning. Can I acquire information very quickly? Yeah, that's no problem. Can I, grasp something new very quickly? Yes. But to learn, to really, really change, that's a slow process. It requires that repetition, thinking it through to the end, perspective shifting to multiple perspectives, integrating, incorporating, making it your own, practicing it, checking it, testing it. That's all takes time, right? And then only you get that self-proof, and then you still got to deal with the habits. So yeah, learning is just true learning is a slow process.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's why we have to be many different people because it's too much for one life.
I have been, I'm going to guess probably around 3 years that I've been on this particular path, maybe a little
more
over
or less.
3.
Yeah.
And I'm just now coming to not so much knowing or understanding what impeccability is, but actually being able to embrace it, to make it my own. I'm just now getting to that point.
Yes.
And at first I was embarrassed about that, but then I thought, no, because I've made a thorough study.
Yeah.
I chewed on it until I could absolutely digest it and talk about it in any different way.
However, let me just say something. There is some appropriate embarrassment, but not about not understanding the term or the concept. Or that's not the thing to be embarrassed about. The thing to be embarrassed about is the time that you wasted not saying I didn't understand. Well, way back when. Now you do.
Yeah, way back when. I was gonna say because you know, more or less lately, it's just been really trying to apply it to.
Right. But you see what I mean is lately you've been saying, I don't understand when you don't understand, but you didn't do that in the beginning. So I'm saying, if you are going to be embarrassed about something, be embarrassed about not saying that in the beginning.
Right. That comes back to self-acceptance.
Exactly. But I'm saying is, okay, embarrassed, take with a bit of grain of salt here. But my point is, just think of all the time that would have been saved.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, you know, to anybody out there listening, if you don't understand, say so, for heaven's sake. You know, we don't understand. You know, I mean, Bina said some comments yesterday or Sunday in the chat, and I'm like, what is Bina saying? I had no idea. And then when Bina, we were on Zoom yesterday, she explained it to me. I get it now. So, you know, it's part of life. It's part of life. It's part of the magic of who we are, is to not understand. If we understood everything, how are we going to learn ever?
Well, and if we understood everything, I mean, why are we here?
Exactly. Then all the fun would be out of it, because we'd know everything, and it's like,
how dull that would be.
Exactly.
That would just be
But you know, to be inhibited, to say I don't understand because your ego is saying I'm going to look foolish or stupid. Well, that's your first lesson right there.
Yep.
Isn't it?
Yep. Exactly. Okay,
How profound and magical is this? How profound and magical.
It is.
Just
it is.
It's very, very cool.
Okay, so I'm going to continue. At the same time, we're talking about Biella now. At the same time, she didn't want to pull any punches. Wanting to be able to discuss anything with Ursula. She just didn't know the limits. Unsure if Ursula truly enjoyed her company, or her commitment to the interaction was merely a consequence of exquisite politeness and consideration, or somewhere being in between. What to do? What to do?
A conundrum.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. I can't wait for the later chapters now.
I know. It gets good it really good from here.
Okay, so we will say again. Sorry, sir, say again.
Oh, I was just going to keep reading.
Well, I was going to say, we'll employ Bina now to read the tasks and exercises, and you go back to reading the story. Yeah.
Okay.
And Bina can put on her best school mistress mommy voice for reading the tasks and exercises. That's
I'm ready.
Seriously, like seriously. By the way, before moving on to task and exercises, I have nothing common with Biella, but this is something I was just thinking, that the struggle of having a friend, this is something a real struggle for me. I really tried my best to be
Did you hear that?
Because I was feeling alone, because I didn't have any woman friend in my life, and whoever I had were not there, and then I had to of course just adjust myself. So all my energy and everything was just trying to adjust with them, which is not bad. Of course, it was my choice, but it was not fun for me. I was not able to be who I am, truly who I am. Now, of course, I was not fake, but it was just not a complete openness there.
You were limited. You were limiting yourself.
And I really had to adjust, and still I was too abstract for them. Sometimes, okay, where you just saying all these things and all that, and then because I don't want to be in that position with any of my friends, that she's too much for us, or like, okay, just ask her anything. I'm not there to give them any answers or any resolutions or anything. I just want to be friend, and this is the part I'm struggling in my life. I really tried to be friend with so many, but I don't know, somehow it was there. So I can understand Biella's struggle, that okay, when she really likes someone and want to be friend with, and then she where are the limits where I can just be and not go beyond that. That is a concern, but at least she's lucky that she has someone in her life that she can consider that, okay, now at least not the bubble burst.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it will not happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's an
I,
exception for Biella, which is the difference, where it was a bit more common for you. Yeah.
yeah, for me
Yeah.
it is, yes.
Right.
Anyway,
But now
so
I want to just rewind a little bit. What is the very
yes,
first thing that Bina started saying, Sher? This is that she struggled to make friends.
Yes, I resonate with that.
Right.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying, just to anybody listening to this, hear what Bina is saying. Yes. And the fact that Bina is saying it. Very few people can just say something like that. And Bina's
Right.
just saying it like she might as well be saying, well, the sky is blue, right?
Yes.
There's no self-pity
yes,
to it. There's no self-aggrandizement. I'm not special because of it. I'm not dumb. I'm not stupid. It's just something that was part of her life. And, she's looked to figure it out, right? So, but yeah,
and I'm
it's a
saying it
significant thing.
just to make it more clear. I'm
Exactly.
saying that for this specifically, that okay, I am struggling with the female friend in my life. This is what I'm saying,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
male friends, like really, I have such an amazing friends in my life.
You got tons of
This is
them,
not a
yes.
thing, but it is
Yeah.
a completely different energy. It's a
Yeah.
completely different
I
energy.
agree.
So yeah, this is something. So and I really tried my best to be friend with, but I don't know, somehow maybe I'm not a good friend. But this is something I don't agree with.
No, don't think that
This
you
is
are.
something I
You
don't
are.
agree
You
with.
are.
I'm just saying that maybe
Yeah,
for them.
yeah, yeah. I
But
mean,
this is something
sometimes
I'm
you are
very
too
proud
good a
of.
friend. Yeah,
Oh, I'm this is what I was about to say.
yeah, yeah.
That this is
And
something I can say
you
with
do have
almost
wonderful
surety.
women friends. Your sisters.
Oh yes, oh yes, yes.
See? Yeah.
But
So
I can say that yes, I'm a very good friend. Sometimes people are
exactly.
not my
Yeah.
friend, but I'm
Yeah.
their friend. So yeah, okay.
Exactly. And I know of instances where you've been too good a friend, and because of that, it gave space for somebody's, not so niceness to start taking advantage of your goodness. Yeah. And then it
Yes,
cost
it
them the
happens.
friendship. Yeah. And that's no good
Universe
either.
just always keen
Yeah.
to fill the void. And if you
Exactly.
create too much
Exactly.
space, universe just
Exactly.
allow anyone or anything
Yeah.
to fill
Yeah.
that space.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we have to be
Nature
very careful about.
abhors a vacuum.
Yes.
I'll say it again.
Yes.
Nature abhors a vacuum. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. It is always. So it was. We have to be very careful about when we are creating space.
Yeah.
So then we have to
Very
have
careful.
that replacement always ready and available for
Yeah.
us every time. Anyway.
Yeah.
So let's go back to yes.
Well, I want to say before you read that first question, what you shared essentially is in a particular way answering this first question. You
Wow.
already
Okay.
answered it.
Okay. So task and exercises. When meeting people for the first time, whether we are interested in being friends or not, is extrapolation appropriate or perhaps strategic?
So when you meet a new woman, right? New girl,
Yes.
woman.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the idea of particularly being friends. Yes.
Yes.
Do you apply extrapolation? For one, whether it's appropriate or not, do you apply it? Like, as in, where's this going?
You cannot ask for the desperate one this question. I was too desperate in my past to be friend with. So the extrapolation.
Thank you. Yeah, I asked
that. Yeah. So that's it's brilliant that you bring desperation into it. And desperation is a disease of futility, as I like to say. All right, it's a complex quote, but it really makes one think about it, because desperation, it really does lead to futile endeavors. For instance, in this case, you're making friends and you're desperate. You just grab whatever you get, and you don't apply any extrapolation, and of course, you end up in a bad relationship. Yeah, it's inappropriate.
Also the fear of being an egotistical person, that okay, and then being in too much of vanity also actually inhibit you to judge or to extrapolate about the relationship, because who am I to just think like that? So sometimes the decision we have to make, and we have a responsibility to make about that situation or about ourselves. We gave up that. We gave up that. We just simply give up and then say, okay, no, I cannot do this because who am I? it's an avoidance of responsibility,
Bye-bye,
but also,
Norma. Bye-bye, Norma. So say goodbye to Norma real quickly. Bye-bye. All
okay,
right,
so
Norma.
I
All
don't
right,
know.
all right.
But it comes from the fear of ego that, okay, oh no, I'm no one to judge anyone. I'm no one to just do things like that. And oh, this is too much for me. Universe has been so generous that it gives me all sorts of things. So extra humility, which is actually inadvertent ego, which inhibits us to really make impactful decisions sometimes.
Mhm.
Oh. And it is a very profound point that you said, right? Not just about the desperation, but also this last point that you're mentioning now, right? It's
Fear
a
of ego.
big deal. This fear, exactly. Fear
Yes,
of being egotistical.
yes,
And this, we have to get out of this. We have to understand humility needs to be appropriate.
Yes.
Inappropriate humility is just as bad as inappropriate. Well, arrogance is pretty much mostly inappropriate. But yeah, it's sometimes arrogance can be appropriate, by the way. Everything has to be determined according to appropriateness. It's not in and of itself always good or always bad. Yeah.
Mm,
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm starting to see
So,
that.
Yeah.
Sure, what is your answer for that when meeting
I
people for the first time?
Not answer, response.
Yes,
Let's get
please.
out of this answer
um
idea. Answer is it thinks one thing and all that, right?
Yes, okay.
for me, I always, and I'm gonna I say always jump to um what's their intent.
There you
It's
go.
not a good thing all the
There you
time.
go. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it, like you said, Sil, it depends on what's appropriate. Depends on how I'm approached, or if I'm
Yeah.
approaching. There's so many different factors that fall into it. But my
Yeah.
first thought is one of, unfortunately, protection.
Yes.
That's just a throwback from everything that I've been through.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
protection first and foremost. And so I
Yeah.
begin to ask myself, what's their intent?
Yeah.
What do they have an agenda?
Yeah.
What's mine?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I
Yeah.
have to make myself
Yeah.
listen, using diplomacy. I have to capital H here. And I do have to lean into trust, and I give it all of that, unless I'm shown something differently.
Yes.
And I give
Now,
little bitty bits at a time, and it can take a long time, sometimes a couple of years, to form a friendship to the point where I feel comfortable talking about anything or
yeah.
expressing my opinion.
Yeah. Maybe all the things in your past, which is leading you to be so cautious, and particularly to be cautious in the context of protection.
Yes.
In my opinion, it was the universe forcing this on you in order so that you can learn how to protect your marvelous good heart.
That's true, because I used to walk around with my heart on my sleeve.
Exactly. And if we don't know how to appropriately love and care, we cause just as much trouble
Yes, it can.
as the reverse, right?
Yeah,
So we have to learn to be appropriate with our goodness, with our caring, with our openness, with our loving, with our goodness. We have to learn to use it appropriately, and that's a very hard lesson to learn.
So that would
It's an
be strategic too.
Exactly. It's an even harder lesson to learn to be appropriate with your goodness than it is to be appropriate with your badness.
Oh
That's
boy,
fairly
is it
easy
ever.
to understand. Yeah, it's like, well, okay, I can be mean and nasty. When is it appropriate to be mean and nasty? Even in the superiority paradigm, bullying has its limits, and yeah, it's kind of easy to figure that out relatively, regardless of where you fall into that. But
Right.
to know exactly how to be appropriate with your goodness, this requires exquisite discernment.
And
Exquisite
that's not, that
discernment.
goes down to, like, I was just thinking when you said that about appropriateness again, that's where codependency is on the spectrum. It's inappropriate goodness. It's an inappropriate use of goodness. That's what
Right. Exactly.
codependency to me is, anyway.
Exactly. And it's so easy. Yeah. It's so easy to fall into this trap of thinking because it's good, it's always good. Because that applies to bad for the most part. Well,
Right.
if it's bad, it's usually bad in almost every situation. So it's very easy to know not to be bad, but to know not to be good. This is a profound thing.
And then we can also we start to look outside of ourselves for all the answers, for all our information, for everything, instead of looking within. And then we get into that trap again of, just not being self-reliant, not being impeccable. It can lead into some interesting directions. But yeah, so I would call it appropriate and strategic.
Exactly. Now look what Ramsey is saying there. Ramsey, you're articulating the new nobility perspective on relationships. This is what we meant by capital R receptivity. Yes.
What did he write?
Now he says, Obina, you read, please. You read.
Okay, just a minute. So let me, yes. For me, Ramsey says, for me, I never try to make friends. I deal with everyone like a friend. And if they go, I let them go. If people can get away from you, let them go. I believe that when someone is self-accomplished and filled inside, he becomes a mature fruit by himself and do need very less from the outside. All
Very
that
little,
get close to me are my friends, and I act friendly with all. After one dies, very little will notice you are not here. Wow, okay. The one who do will spare 2 tears. The next day will forget you were there. After 2 hours of one's funeral, family will start discussing politics over coffee. Even your wife in a month will be watching comedy on TV. Okay. Invest in yourself and befriend yourself. I don't invest anymore in people. I show love to all irrespective of how close they are.
Yes.
Exactly. This is something when you were sharing, looking for friends, of course, is also a lack of self-love. When we don't love ourselves, then we start loving that. Okay, we need to. And this is something, yes, completely agree with you, Ramsey, what you are saying. But also that what I'm saying, that it is on different stages of our life. It's not about like age or anything to do with this. It's just about at what stage of life you are. I have been missing, in my personal case, I can say that I have been missing the positive female interaction in my life. Though I have that, like, okay, like my sisters, but outside my family, because sometimes you just take them like, duh, okay, yes, they are who they are. And they are there. But outside, because I have been kind of like ditched or betrayed by a female person in my life. And then also I do have some negative experiences with female outside my family. So that's why it was lacking in my experience. The fullness of my life was not coming together. That, okay, yes, this part of my life is missing, and I was believing that there must be, and they are, a positive female, of course, outside my family do exist, and I was keen to connect with them. Also, that I do have a very positive male influence in my life since my childhood till now. I have a very, very positive male influence in my life. Like, okay, they all are very good people. They are always there. They are always supporting, always caring, always loving. So for me, it was like, okay, one side, the whole side of the life was missing. I was curious about that. And that's why I also become so adamant. Yeah, you can say that about my perspectives in my life. Like, okay, yes, this is what it is, because I was influenced by the male energy. Like, okay, yes, all the male positive people in my life, I was influenced by that, and I was keen to connect with the feminine side also. And that desperation just makes my thinking clouded. I completely agree with you that it has to be first with ourselves. Then maybe I'm saying maybe we will not have any need to get anything from outside. But I'm not sure. I think that people are the most important thing, the most inspiring creature in my life. I always say that. I love humans. Love them.
Yep. Now, let's look at this from like Biella's perspective and the new nobility perspective. From the new nobility perspective, and Biella's in particular, Biella is capable of loving and making friends with anybody. regardless of who they are. And we'll see later on with some of the delegates, well, one in particular, right? How she becomes, they become really deep friends with this particular delegate. Now, and the delegate is, they're not looking to be a new noble or an aspirant, even though they kind of hang around, but still, right? And then Cornelius too can be kind of difficult. But the capability to be friends with everybody, this is a separate skill. That's the skill of understanding that comes from awareness and discernment, and the application of that true and deep understanding, which shows article. Understanding equals love with awareness. Yes. If you apply love with awareness, you always come to that understanding, and you can love and be friends with anybody. Now, does that though mean that it is going to particularly resonate with you and your being? No. So if we just say, I'm vibrating at my particular frequency and here's a frequency, I can adjust my frequency to resonate with that frequency, but I have to make that adjustment. However, when we get those deep, real, true friendships, right, that's when the resonation happens of its own accord. I don't have to make any effort. So I have the same end result. It's just easier. Yeah. So this is what's happening with Ursula. Biella recognizes this innate resonance, and she's very keen to have a deep friendship with her, because she recognizes that they are going to connect and click and resonate, right? And she won't have to make any effort to be friends with Ursula. But there's something amiss. There's something amiss, right? And this is, we're going to figure this. This is going to come later on in the story. I don't want to give spoilers here, and I can't wait now to get to it. It's like such a wonderful thing to come. It's very cool. I'm very eager now. But still, my point is, it's about this resonance. So yes, it's a nuanced, sophisticated point. From the new nobility point of view, they understand and they work very hard at the ability to be able to love everybody and no problem, right? Everybody is a dear friend. That's where they start. Now, whether you wish to be, like you said, or not, that's up to you. Every interaction of theirs is always about freedom. And rule number one of relationships, no expectations and no obligations. This is a new nobility axiom, right? No expectations, no any interaction, any relationship. So freedom is a massive part. If you don't have freedom in your relationships, it's not a relationship. It's something else. It's a contract. Something else. Yeah. So this is very important. But having the skill to love everybody and be really good friends with everybody, that's something you work at. That still doesn't mean that you have a natural resonance. Like, for instance, I can develop the skill to like all music, but some music is just easier for me to like than others. Now maybe I need more to learn. Maybe the new nobility will tell you the same thing. Hey, you know what? I have more to learn because I don't think the universe has any favorites. But I'm not the universe yet, and I still do find some things easier to love than others. It's not that I cannot, it's just easier. It's not that I cannot, it's just easier. Right? So this is a very fine, subtle distinction, that we aren't saying that, I'm just going to pick my friends and only be friends with some. No, I only be friends with everybody, and I can really, really be good friends with them. And I am really good friends with, but some are still easier than others. It's just how it is at the moment where I'm at. Yeah. At the moment where I'm at. All right, very cool. Number two there, Bina. So again, that's extrapolation. When it comes to friendships, it's very appropriate, yes, and strategic at the same time. Yeah, got to see where things are going a little bit. And that reminds me. When you said about intent, when we have new interactions, it's key to ask what is the intent here. Not only the person's, because that's going to include their intent, but the intent of the situation, your intent, the intent of the world, the universe, all intents. Because sometimes we might discover, when I ask what's the intent, the universe has an intent for me to interact with this person. Did I want to? Is it something? I know. Is it going to be a problem? Yes. Is it going to be difficult? Is it strategic? Or yeah, but still I need to learn for whatever reason, somehow, right? So the intent of the universe from attunement may not be something that is necessary necessarily in alignment with my own personal intent, or can go against the sort of usual intent of being friends. In other words, the universe could ask me to be friends with somebody that I shouldn't be friends with under normal circumstances. Yeah. So I'm just saying, though, that when we ask what's the intent here, we get all of these answers. And yes, paying attention to intent and the individual's intent and our personal intent, situational intent, right? And the flow of things, part of attunement is extrapolation. So it's very strategic to do this. Yeah, makes sense?
Yes. Yes. Okay. So the second one is, if we are interested in being friends, does that change the interaction dynamics? If so, how exactly? Uh, yes. Yes. My interaction, if I'm interested to be friend with someone with the intent, because it is going to make a huge difference with my interaction. If I really want to, it will not be just the appropriate in the forefront of the whole communication all the time. Because normal interaction is always, okay, appropriate. What is appropriate? And this is how it, but when it comes to be friend with someone with the intent, then of course I will have more than that. I will just, of course, keen to know about them more. And of course, I will initiate few topics maybe, or some way of communication with them which can actually like really explore more. So yes, it can change the
Yeah,
dynamics.
yeah, yeah. I find this so interesting that you answered the question before we read it, and now Ramsey's answering the question before it's being read here. Right?
Wow.
Ramsey's comment there. He says, "My intents in friendships are different from most people's intent in friendships. They contradict. When I owned my company in Kuwait, I used to invite everyone every day on lunch, dinner, etc. And they are all my best friends. When I closed the company, they all disappeared." Yes. So so Ramsey, this is precisely what this question is asking. If we are interested in being friends, does this change the interaction dynamic? Now, when you were inviting people to the things like that, they took it as an invitation, but they weren't really interested in being friends. They were just interested in the freebies, right? So, and that's where the extrapolation now comes into it. If we are looking ahead and we say, if I'm truly interested in being in a real friendship relationship, then I have to behave in a certain way that's going to lead that way. Otherwise, if it's like with those people who obviously were just acquaintances, right, then the behaviors that will lead to friendship may be misconstrued and used inappropriately. Or you end up in friendships that you don't want to be in. So it's very important to pay attention to how we interact and have clarity of intent with what we're looking to do. So
This
I'm
is very
happy to be friends
interesting.
with everybody, right? But I don't want to start a relationship that locks me in onto a path where we are now friends, whether I want it to be or not. So I'm a bit cautious with how it comes in, right? Because sometimes you might find yourself in a friendship with a BMN that you never wanted to be in, but because you behaved inappropriately to start, oh, you're my best buddy and you're my best, all the stuff, right? Now it's very hard to get rid of it and get out of it. So it's very important to pay attention to these dynamics as you discovered there with your company, right? It's very, very,
Right.
very important. Yeah, we have to really
Sorry,
find out.
excuse me, Ramsey. I didn't mean to laugh, but I was laughing because that is a story I have experienced that
Now,
personally in my life in a different way, but in my father's life, that yes, and my parents, like they both were very social, and people were like used to come every single day and bring dinners and all these things. And
yeah,
what was the end? Exactly like yours. But they didn't
exactly.
disappear. They actually just robbed us, and then they disappeared. So when you are
Yeah,
inviting people, when we are so open, we are not actually being impeccable and being really strategic about these things, then these type of things happen.
yeah, yeah,
Unfortunately,
yeah,
my father was not paying
yeah,
attention
yeah, yeah,
to those people
yeah,
and their behaviors, and that was the part of sadness I am
yeah,
carrying since my childhood, because I was able to understand that was the thing
yeah,
I was
yeah,
observing, that people's
yeah,
intents are completely different and
yeah,
what they're saying and portraying can be completely different, and that
yeah, yeah,
polarity actually leads me
yeah,
towards
yeah,
being
yeah,
emotionally numb. because as a child, I was not able to understand that what to do about it, because people were lying, straight away lying, and I could feel that. And that's why lying, okay, yes, I cannot say that I never lie. I try my best. But sometimes when you are sharing a lot of things, and sometimes it involves other people's things, I do try to avoid to share them, because I feel that it is appropriate to share with them. So that's why I cannot say 100% that I never lie. No, sometimes we have to adjust few things.
I don't know if you lie, but you might not share everything. That's a different thing to
Yes, so
lying.
sometimes we have to make some adjustment for
But
others.
in Bina's beautiful art, omission is equivalent to lying. It's just fantastic. This is why we love you so much, Bina. Also, Ramzi, Bina's saying sorry for the laughing there. Is Bina's deep consideration and exquisiteness of caring for others, because she understands. Yes, she may have seen your laughy face there, right? That's what Ramzi's saying there, right? But that doesn't mean that just because you laughing at yourself, it's okay for her to laugh.
Exactly.
See? So there's a nuance there of Bina's sophistication. So yes. But she did connect with that. Yeah. So it's fantastic, and we love that you laugh at yourself all the time. This is the space we in here. It's a space where we can laugh at each other.
Oh yes.
We can laugh at each other, not just with each other, but also at. If I'm being an idiot, well, laugh at me. I'm being an idiot. I'm being foolish. I'm being funny. Whatever. But it's
no, you
part
never
of it.
allow that. No, but you never allow that.
You're gonna make me cry, Bina. Exactly. It's very pleasant to watch how some people.
I was just teasing him. No.
Yes. See,
Really
it's brilliant. But with Bina, I'm never sure though. I have to take that. I'd like, really, Bina? And then okay, no, I'm sure she must be teasing here. So very good, Bina. That's a good tease. That's a good tease when you're not sure, but you always lean on the side of the tease, because if you tease people where they're really not sure, then you just, I don't know, then you're just deceiving them, right? So a tease is a skillful thing. You have to leave that open, right? Because otherwise they don't know. If they truly don't know, then you're deceiving them. So a tease has got to leave the door open a little bit. Like if you think about it, well, no. So yeah. There's a skill to teasing. So we love this, Ramzi.
How can you allow or not allow anyone to do that? No, of course no.
Exactly.
So that's why I was just teasing. No, you never allow that. So
Exactly.
Yes,
So lots of fine points here, but this point about strategic friendships or strategic extrapolation and how you behave. When you understand the superiority paradigm, and this is a big part of the psychology of the superiority paradigm, it is how BMNs use the mechanisms of making friends to ensnare and connect and entrap people. They'll come along and they'll be your best buddy, and they'll act like your best buddy, knowing that you're not going to say, hey, whoa, I just met you. You inviting yourself to my house and staying over already. I just met you. No, sorry. They know most people don't want to do that because they feel a bit awkward or a bit shy or they're a bit intimidated, and then they get away with it. And the person doesn't want them to come and stay over at their house so they kind of force their way into a friendship, and then you can't get rid of them. And I know I've seen this happen many, many, many times. Yes. It's a terrible thing.
I have experienced that.
There you go.
Some of my Chinese friends, they were friends and
nothing to do with it. They're Chinese. They just happen to be Chinese. So be careful.
I'm just saying that. Okay. And because they don't have any place to live, and they just say, okay, yes, they come to visit me, and then they just didn't leave. And then it was a whole month, and I was like, wow. And my parents were like, Veena. And I had to get out of my bedroom for that because I cannot sleep.
And listen to what she says. And I had to get out of my own bedroom for that.
Yes.
Talk about abuse of a friendship, yeah?
Yes, because I cannot sleep with her. She was like, okay, she's just lying down on my bed. And I was like, what is this now? But sometimes things happen like that. They were not like really abusive people. They were trying to be helpful in the house, but that was not appropriate for me. So
correct.
At some
so
point
we have to be careful. We have to be careful. Yeah, we have to be careful. It's a profound thing. There's a lot there. Yeah. One second, 1 second. I do love myself, Norma. I do love myself, but let me just respond there. I forget. 1 second, 1 second. All right, we all are each other. That's why it's easy to love when we pay attention. So all good, all good. All right, all right. What was I doing? Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Getting back here. As an imagination exercise or extrapolation practice, what could be the reason Biella is thrown off a bit? Oh, so we're gonna imagine now what could be going on inside Ursula.
I have an answer for that one. Not an answer, but a response.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Look at that. See, an update in the moment. See, now that was really cool. What Cher did. She responded with habit and then caught herself and then updated in the moment. That's very cool. The reason I make a point of this is because of emphasis. See, so now I'm assisting Cher. Say emphasis, yes, great, and now Cher's going, yes, that was cool of me to do this. Emphasis, the brain retrains, right? So we can assist each other when we do things like that. Huh?
Yeah. Absolutely. Cool. I appreciate that. Okay. I'm going to take it probably from, okay.
Let me read the question again.
No, yeah, please, because I was trying to get the screen bigger. There it is.
Right. Or you read it,
the reason, okay, as an imagination exercise or extrapolation practice, what could be the reason Biella is thrown off a bit?
Not what it is, but as imagination or extrapolation.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why I was saying, going into my own imagination or even to my own experience, it would be Biella could be thrown off because Ursula is holding all of her cards close to her chest, like I had mentioned or alluded to earlier. When we do that, it does have a tendency, I know from experience, to throw people off. They're not quite how to read you, how to read you. They're not picking up, quote, your vibe. They're really just not sure of your intent. And, some people might even mislabel or inappropriately, I'm going to use the word misjudge.
Yeah.
So why would Biella be doing that? Well, it also could be because maybe she just was feeling a little bit uncertain of her own abilities in that moment, which would be really weird for a Biella, but
yeah. But see, it's right now it would be good to write down your responses here, so that when it comes up, we'll see what happens, and then we'll see. Oh, man, what was I thinking? And we'll see how much of ourselves we project into these answers. Okay. Bina, let's hear. It's very hard not to do that, Cher. It's very hard not to project ourselves into such answers.
Right.
It's very, very hard not to.
Yes, a brilliant answer. Response. Sorry. Brilliant response.
Thank you. See, Bina caught herself too there now. Yeah.
Yes. For me, this question is not saying that Biella was thrown off by Ursula. So it's just my understanding. I'm assuming that it is.
Yeah.
Which I'm not going to. In that whole situation, if Biella is thrown off a bit, that could be because that she had to make some effort, like, okay, and really think about which is not her her way of doing things. Where she was like, okay, yes, she's a bit cautious, and all these things, which is contradictory to how and what she actually is and project also. So for Biella, even just thought that, okay, how she is getting into being cautious of and thinking about things which are like should, because, okay, what are the boundaries? So I should behave accordingly. That is something not Biella. So Biella can be thrown off by herself, that why she is following some cueing. So Because this question is doesn't
Interesting.
say that she was thrown off by Ursula. No.
Right.
Yeah, well, she's thrown off by the anomaly that is presented by Ursula. Let's be more
In that
particular, right?
particular question, I'm just following that question and then taking this
Right,
liberty.
right,
That
right.
because this question is not saying anything about this.
Exactly. Brilliant,
Right,
brilliant,
it doesn't.
brilliant, brilliant,
I made
brilliant.
that
Ramsey,
assumption.
go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, no, I was gonna say, you're right. It doesn't say anything about Ursula in the question. I'm just inferring
Yeah,
that Ursula is who's throwing her off a bit, because that's
Yes.
the
yeah,
part,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
where
yeah,
we
yeah,
picked up that
yeah,
she had a bit of a
yeah.
setback.
It's the anomaly that throws her off, because she has no problem making friends. She has no problem reading
Right.
people. She's very, very skilled at this, as we saw with Shah.
Right.
Like super skilled, exquisitely so. So yeah, is something that doesn't fit together. On the one hand, what she's reading
Not
from
making
Ursula
sense.
is conflict. She's reading an internal conflict from Ursula, and she can't figure out why there is a conflict, right?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
and the reason she's come up with is Ursula just being exquisitely polite, which would be appropriate for a delegate, right? Or is she really interested? She can't tell. It's very close, right? It can be either one or the other. And this is the mystery. Typically, she can always tell. And she's finding herself being overly cautious because there is something going on with Ursula. It's actually Ursula who's thrown off, and Biella is picking that up and resonating with it. And this is now getting Biella to feel that thrown offness. Biella isn't truly thrown off because she's continuing with what she knows to do. If you come across an anomaly, you figure it out, you think it through to the end, your perspective shifts. So she does her stuff. So she's not truly thrown off. But Ursula is, as we'll discover later.
Okay.
So and Biella is picking this up from Ursula and doesn't know what to do because she doesn't have enough information to actually be able to do anything just yet. And this is a failure of imagination on Biella's part here, as we'll see later on, right? As we are all failing to imagine why now, in terms of what's going on with Ursula. And that's why I love the story. So I'm so keen to get to it now. Because when you read, it's like, yeah, wow, yes, okay. Never thought of it in that way, yeah? So it's a very cool thing. It's a very, very cool thing. So Ramsey, I'm keen to hear from you here too, if you have any on this, right? Keen to hear from you. All right, let's go. Keep going, please, sir.
No, that was it. That was all I had. The only other thing I wanted to say was that I like how Vina had mentioned something about it could be that Viola has to apply a little bit more effort, so kind of out of her comfort zone. But there
Right.
again, projection.
Exactly. In this, the effort came from that she wasn't sure where the boundaries were, how
Right.
much or how little she could say. And
Right.
typically when she meets somebody like Ursula, who she does resonate with, she knows she can just say everything, but suddenly she finds herself being cautious. Now, she's, of course, when she's interacting outside of Nobelia, where you know now capital diplomacy becomes your go-to, right? On Nobelia, that can be set aside for the most part. So she has these skills to be able to know how much and on how little to share and how far she can go. But the fact that she feels on the one hand, she really likes Ursula, which means typically if she really likes somebody, she feels free to say whatever. But it's not that she was saying, I can't feel free. She just wasn't sure. It was the doubt, that this ambiguity that typically is clear one way or the other. But here there was no clarity. And
Right.
this was the problem. Because she is mirroring Ursula's uncertainty.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, and she's not realizing that she's doing this because she has this deep resonance. She is picking up the issues with Ursula, and she just didn't ever imagine that Ursula might be in the spot that Ursula is in. And we're going to see where Ursula does end up being is a profound thing. It's rare. It's rare in this world. I have another story, The Adventureman, in which this is a key factor. where somebody does step across that line. You know, Ursula comes later to step across it, but not quite yet. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal to be able to do what Ursula does later on. And it's very rare. It's very rare. We'll see. We'll see. Bina, any closing thoughts before we go here? Ramzi, any closing thoughts before we go? Anybody who's here? Share.
For me personally, it brings so many things in my life, which I've
Like
friendship thing. Yeah. Like the friendship and the need for friends, and also being like really keen and cautious of like to make friends, and also bringing up some discernment that okay, we have to have some intent, and clarity of intent is so crucial, even when we make friends, because when it comes to friendship, mostly we have this teenage idea that, oh, that friends are coming together and then it will happen organically without being mindful about that. And this is the idealistic kind of childish approach towards that, and which carries on even in our mature life. Like me, this happened, and I was so keen, like, okay, yes, I want to be friend with, and I tried everyone, like, okay, but it never goes anywhere. Maybe I'm too boring. That was the thought for me. So what I'm really observing, and I'm keen to know more about that, what and how Biella is going to deal with this, because this time she is keen to be friend with her, and and this is something I can resonate with, and I will see that okay, it will go. The other thing about this whole conversation today was the self-love, which is really really important. I don't use that term very much, that self-love, because it's all about contentment. It's not exactly the self-love which I really use regularly, but the contentment that you have so much. That's the way I like. Okay, I shared with you, and I was so surprised that why I never experienced that boredom. I never feel bored. Like, why? Everybody say that, okay, I'm feeling bored, but I never experienced that. What it actually is. So, the self-judgment thing was the conclusion for me, that I always have pending things to do. That's why I don't have time to feel bored. That was the conclusion I just made for myself. But it was not that. It was something when you have so many things to think about, and you have so much moreness in your life. Everyone have that. I'm not saying in my life personally. Everyone, like life in general, has so much more to think about, to explore, to extract value. How you can feel bored? It cannot be. For me, it doesn't exist at all. So the part of what Ramzi was saying, what Cher was sharing, and especially Cher, you are the one who actually can really be an example of, be a symbol of that. Okay, how self-love is important, and how the grace and the contentment is so important in our life, and we can achieve anything if we have that. So much out of this whole session. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Norma. And Elizabeth, we miss you. I don't know that. Okay.
Yes. She did send me a message today saying that she might not be able to make it today.
Okay. So Elizabeth, very keen to see you tomorrow, and also Sarah, and also Cheryl, and also Jessica. Where are you, Jessica? Really?
Yes, where are you, Jessica? Dang it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
we miss all of you. We miss all of you. And there's more. There's more that we don't mention. It's a lot of names to mention. All the people.
And thank you, Sil. That
pleasure.
You shared a lot. So Cher, you want to say something? Pleasure. So please.
I don't.
I love this.
Yeah, I love it too.
No, exactly. I can say ditto. Just ditto.
There you go.
Okay.
There you
go.
So.
Oh, you can say I've got nothing to share. It's not a problem.
Well, I mean, I do. I just don't know how to put it all into words. The most important takeaway for me was, golly, a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
Be aware of my responses. Be aware of my responses to how people approach me. Be aware of responses to when I approach other people. Be aware of their energy. Not everybody is out to hurt me.
Yes.
There you go. There you go. And then Ramsey shares a very profound point of sophisticated new nobility, understanding, and awareness. An exquisite point of understanding. So please read there what Ramsey said. Either of you, whoever wants
I
to.
can't see the screen there.
Oh.
Okay. Lisa, you have to read because I also cannot see that.
Oh, let me screen share then.
Yes, I had to close that for the bandwidth.
Oh, I
reason.
see. Okay,
Yes.
okay. Try the screen share. Look at Zoom and see. Can you read
Okay.
on screen share?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So Ramsey says, for me, people search for their second half in others. I, by mistake, discovered my second half in me. Well done.
Yeah.
So I feel complete now. The more spiritual and meditative I get, I discover that I don't have time, but for only quality people with clear, clean intent in my life. People who are not drowning in a small, minute, irrelevant details.
Yes,
Wow.
exactly.
This
Exactly.
is
So
really, this is what people actually look for.
for the other half, absolutely. Yeah. Without consciously doing so. Well, in love relationships, they absolutely want to find my better half, my other half, my one heart of my heart, and those two hearts broken, coming together, all the stuff. Right?
Yeah.
My true love, all the
I
stuff.
don't
It's all
want
the same
anyone like
concept.
me in my life. No.
That's your sophistication. That's why
No,
we love you, because
I
you
would
are
rather
different.
have somebody, my friends compliment me and me compliment them rather than be involved in any other levels. So.
Right. But
Wow.
essentially, as we go along, right, look at how we include people in our friendship circle. We are including those we have resonance with. They aren't my missing part. They are a representation of my moreness, as you all are. Are you not representations
I will
of
come
my
back
moreness?
tomorrow.
And are we not representations of your moreness? Either of you?
Right, but that
See?
that makes me now think about the word reevaluation. There's a couple loosely framed relationships that could be reevaluated and let go.
Exactly. So when it comes to relationships, this is something where this extrapolation, is it appropriate? Hell yes, it's appropriate. Is it strategic? Hell yes, it's strategic. It is critically, absolutely necessary. Otherwise, like Ramsey says, you end up in things where people are drowning in the small, minute, irrelevant details, in pettiness, in other words.
Right.
And at some point, when you have independence of being, you say, when I was needing to learn about pettiness, I had relationships with petty people. The universe is trying to say to me, hey, learn from it. Well, thank you, universe. I've now learned from it. So I move on. Yes. Those people, they're going to have friendships with other people who need to learn about pettiness, and they learn from each other. It's appropriate, right? But I have other things to learn now. Yes, I have things to learn, like grace and care and enjoyment and appreciation and celebration and things like this. This I need to practice. I don't necessarily need to learn it, but I know I need to practice it. And there's other things that I need to learn, right? Like exquisiteness. So, but practice, I need to practice. I need to practice not being petty.
Yes.
Yeah, we all need
or learn to deal with it.
All the time. It's like a constant thing.
Right.
So
Yes. Right. But I mean, that's something it's a lesson that's been learned. Now it's just a matter of putting, continuing to implement what's already been learned. Yes. It's like table manners. I don't unlearn my table manners once I've learned them. See what I mean? I keep practicing them. Yes. But
your
we lost him.
Your sound is off, sir. So I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Maybe somebody can type to him that we can't hear.
Yes, he hear that. So okay. No. Say something, sir. No. No, sorry, you need to switch. Yes. So it is funny that you mentioned table manners, because from the childhood till now, still I'm struggling with putting my elbows on table, and Mama don't like that.
I don't either.
It's so uncomfortable. Like, what's the point?
Yeah, elbows do not belong on the table. Arms
Yeah.
don't belong on the table. You know, I don't know. It's just one of the. It's those manners or etiquette things.
Yes, but I do.
So.
Shamelessly, I do.
So does CJ. CJ
Yes.
does too. I'm on him. Tables, you know, I'm always telling him arms, elbows, arms, elbows. Poor kid, he gets tired.
I don't know. For me, it's super uncomfortable. Super uncomfortable. Like, why? What's the point? Why
Yeah,
not?
that's what he said. He's like, well, why is it here? I can't argue with that.
Okay. So still, I think that, okay, his sound is not back yet. No. Okay. So anyway, we are in the wrap, almost closing time. Yes, we are on time almost.
Yeah.
So thank you, Shir. Thank you so much. Keen to hear from you tomorrow more. And
Yes.
I would love to have you, of course. Yes, please do come on Zoom also. So we will discuss more, and you will share, and we will have that. So thank you,
Yes.
Sil. Thank you, Shir. Thank you,
Thank
Ramzi,
you.
and thank you everyone for coming here. Okay. So
bye-bye.
bye for now.
Bye.
Bye. Okay.